Hello everybody! Thanks for checking out a video here on G4G Games for Gamers. I'm your host as always, Baton, and today we are here back for some Union Jack team-ups. And today we are going to set up for one of my favorite ones in terms of prediction and everything. And I've hinted at this one in some videos past. I said this favorite team-up is going to feature a man out of place, a certain Asian among Vikings. That's right, we're going to set up to do Union Jack and Hogun. This is one of what I think could be the most deadly Union Jack team-up. So I'm going to go ahead and set up for it over here, which I haven't done yet because I kind of wanted to show you guys what the deal is. Union Jack is now 13, ready to go on 14. And believe it or not, after some conversations recently about getting the V for Victory ISO, it showed up in this week's ISO mission. The daily mission where you get the A ISOs. And I didn't get it at first, but I decided to spin one time, and I managed to get it. So I am quite thrilled about that. Now, a very, very good team up with him is going to be, of course, the Scrapper suit, because of the Scrapper suit's ability to perform prevent and counter attacks. So, essentially, this is sort of like Hafe, basically. Chance to prevent and counter enemy counterattacks and follow-up attacks. So, this also really, really aids in the whole setup over here. But I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to use the Bruiser suit and set up that way. So one of the first things that we need to go ahead and do is get the right gear on my agent. And one of the first things that I'm going to do is get the tankard. The reason why I'm going to get the tankard is because of the fact that the tankard says that I am a member of the Warriors 3. Being a member of the Warriors 3 means that Hogun will have a greater chance to fire off one of his arrows. Now there's a lot of things I could do here. Of course, the weather control device is good for exhausted. The mystic is good for some prevention of debuffs in the first round. There really is a lot that you can do with this team up once you get the elixir in here. You can pull out the cube and kind of rely on your elixir as being your cleaner for the agent and everything. I'm going to go ahead and go with one of my trusty counter guns over here. And I'm going to pick the shield. Now, there's always some things we can do. We, of course, have the new Legion Pulse Rifle. Has a chance to perform a preemptive counter when attacked. We have the counters with radiation, but that doesn't really work well with this particular group. So I'm going to use the Nanite Inductive Nailgun. One of the things that you can use here is the Scroll of Aknazak. You can use the Scroll of Aknazak to ensure that the Scrapper stacks from Hogun and Union Jack stay put. And those are the stacks that you get from having the Scrapper-related ISO equipped. So I'm going to go ahead and slap one of those on Hogun. I'm going to have to steal it from somebody. Can't remember who I'm going to steal it from, because Union Jack... Oh yeah, alright, I will go ahead and steal it from Angela. Now, his personal ISO from the Warriors 3 Heroic says that he's immune to a bunch of things like winded and off balance and a few of those kinds of things. That's probably worth farming, because honestly, once you get this ISO in here, truly, nothing else really matters that much. You could run a, the one that has the chance to stun. You can run Skull Thumper in there. Obviously, distance not really going to do anything. For now, we'll go ahead and grab Street Fighting, because everything he does is melee. It's not melee unarmed, but it is melee. And he, of course, has the debuff, and he has Meteor Smash. Now, Elixir of Recovery is a buff and a heal. That's really solid. Because of it being a heal, that means you can actually apply the Rising Augmented on here. Heal actions used on allies also apply Rising Up. So that would give him Rising Up. But for now, our only options would be things like Gracious and Manifesting. I'm going to go ahead and steal a Gracious from the Black Knight, just for stamina purposes, but Rising would definitely be something worth looking into. Over here, his other two abilities are melee, and Overwhelming Presence is a debuff, so you're not going to be able to slot anything in there. See? Hopefully they will get some, they get some of those in the future, something that we can do to debuff. So I'm just going to steal a Knocking, simply because of the fact that it's a really good idea, but I could also get a Wide Open, which increases the damage of melee attacks, and since we're running with a lot of melee, that's not a bad idea. But Knocking is pretty good on people who do counters and pre-counters, because you have a chance to stun somebody before they act, and when Hafe was running that as a setup for Molly, his pre-counters sometimes would get somebody stunned, and then of course Molly exploits it. You can see down here that Thorns is trading up to the next level. Union Jack is going to get that slot next once we get all of these videos out of the way. So here we go. Let's get into, of course, one of our test beds, the Sin Simulator. And this is always good because of the ads. And then we'll do Artem Zola. Now there is a ton of weapons the agent can run for this. You don't really need to worry about fumbling and flanked too much, because everybody's going to get it in round 2, and Union Jack can now put it out in round 1. So there's Arrowed, because my agent, and then there's Service Revolver. So right here, I haven't even done anything yet, and this team has already shown themselves off. So if we look at Union Jack, he now has a stack of his bounding attack. This, in the Tactician suit, would be a quick action, and that's probably the way to go. But for purposes of this video, I wanted to pull attacks to my agent so that the Nanite shield can go off, and that Hogun fires off a little bit more. So you can see there's the key to it. Way of the Warrior. Chance to perform an attack when an ally attacks or is attacked. If an ally is one of the warriors of 3, these attacks are guaranteed. The attack applies pain and target focus. So there's pain, and target focus already happened. And there's Arrowed again. And then there's Union Jack joining in. So right now, this team is just working out beautifully. And as you can see, Hogun just demolished that person. Now, of course, we did not take any hits from the infiltrator, so we do not have combat reflexes or anything going on over here, or close quarters combat. So I'm going to apply the V for victory to set up for the flanked, which now allows me to counter both melee and ranged all at once. So that V for victory is a huge key in accelerating Union Jack. By the way, today's background soundtrack is brought to you by Laserhawk, the Redline album. So my agent's going to jump in. And there goes Union Jack pre-firing. And there goes Union Jack pre-firing again. So here comes the Nanite, which is a counter. Hogun goes because of the tankard. And now Union Jack is already at 6 stacks. So basically at the end of round 1, he's at 6 of his maximum 8. So I'm going to use the tankard We got myself and Hogun, our class benefits. And because he drank, you'll notice Energize went off and we completely all regained our stamina. Here in round 2, everybody gets flanked and fumbling. So we have to hit the power armor because he's going to jump in. But look at that, 7k. And he's not even ISO'd all the way. Now, of course, he does not have his close quarters combat, and V for Victory is on cooldown, so we would have to pick, did we want to set up for the melee or the ranged? So there's the first battle over there, and as you can see, everything pretty much worked out to perfection. You really couldn't have asked for a better setup over there. So this time we're going to go fight Arnim Zola. Since we're going up against a blaster, I'm going to switch things around a little bit. I'm going to bring up the new Tactician Safe Suit. We're going to leave the Elixir of Recovery in there. And we are going to change the Nanite gun to Caltrop Launcher simply for the quick action debuff. And that means our melee attacks from Hogun and Union Jack, of course, are going to do the Thorns effect and create hemorrhages and bleeds. So this round for Arnim is going to be a complete waste because of the Mystic. So this would be a good chance. You could make a case here, well, you know, hey, Hogun's going first. Wide open would be great there. Yes, absolutely correct. Meteor Smash, honestly, it's just, I rarely am going to use it unless somebody's flanked or I'm hitting an infiltrator, because Windup Swing does so many good things. You pretty much can take down an absolute tank with Windup Swing spam. Meteor Smash, yeah, it's not too bad, but most of the time, Windup Swing is what you're going to do. So unfortunately, he missed. So I could open up with Hailstorm to get Domo Arigato, Mr. Zobato bleeding. I'm going to put out the Caltrop Launcher to limit the ranged. And we'll pop him with the Mystic because it's the only thing left. There's Arrowed. And we're just going to stay put because we don't want to do too much damage over here. Set up V for Victory. So now Arnim's flanked, which honestly I didn't necessarily have to do because the flanked is about ready to come up. And for some reason, he removed my Mystic. So we're going to take a Psychic Tap level hit over here. But that's okay. And now Union Jack comes full circle in his own chain. He started the process by attacking, Hogun joined in, and then Union Jack came around the backside and joined in on the join-in, which is perfect. Alright, so look at all these debuffs that we've got on him over here. You rarely ever want to waste Hogun's turn by using the Elixir of Recovery on him. It's best if your agent does it. And I could have held the Overwhelming Presence because we're only fighting one enemy. He's flanked already, but for practical purposes, this just kind of shows you how everything goes with this team. Double Thorns hit. We'll use this as a quick action. Stamina is restored to everybody. Hailstorm again. Then we'll fire the Caltrop Launcher and we'll just stay put and try to let all the counter people do it. So obviously that Mental Blast is erasing buffs. And we'll just sit here and recharge. We'll try to see if we can get Union Jack and Hogun to finish this off. So now, because that's a summons attack, Hogun can't join in on it with the arrow. But look at that. 81-13 at the top of the third round. Strong, strong hits. So, what are some of the things that you can do if you do not have a lot of this gear and you want stuff to farm? Well, I can definitely show you that right here. We will go ahead and pretend that we didn't have the Mystic. So one of the things that you could do here is, obviously we're now not going to get protected against debuffs, but this is a good item to get when you see it in a spinner. Chance to counter single target and area of attacks. So this fires off a ruby quartz rifle beam when you get attacked. That's going to work out pretty well. But one of the things you can definitely farm for and control your own destiny is the Blind Justice. This is one of the best things you can do for counter teams. The Caltrop Launcher was from a previous Spec Ops. If you didn't miss it, the Nanite gun is farmable from a lot of the incursions and everything. This shows up pretty frequently. So we're going to slot that in there. And the tankard obviously came up around the time of the Warriors 3. That's not farmable, but I'm leaving that slotted so that you can see how this team works if you have the tankard. Honestly, if you have the tankard on your defensive team, hide it. Don't put it in your #1 slot. So already Union Jack and Hogun are responding brilliantly. So we're going to open up with the Hailstorm. And the shield's doing a good job protecting me. And now, I'm going to give everybody on the team basically berserking, like Sif's ISO. So now Hogun joined in, and Union Jack could have joined in on that, of course. So here's his pre-counter. And fortunately, he didn't get stunned from that. But because that is an infiltrator, I now have close quarters combat. So I'm not going to use V for victory. I'm just going to use my close quarters combat on the power armor. And my agent joined in thanks to the Justice for All. So Hogun's going to double whack on the infiltrator. Very solid damage. And now he's down. Nobody joined in. I'm going to go ahead and use the Elixir of Recovery as a quick action. Which again, I didn't have to do because he had close quarters combat that will spin into this round. But now he's also got his infiltrator bonuses up. And we're going to go ahead and keep that Blind Justice going. The one bad thing about the Blind Justice is that it is a 1-round buff, so you pretty much have to spam this. And there goes some join-ins, there goes some join-ins, there goes some join-ins. Look at that. It's literally hands-off destruction at this point. So there you go. There is one of the best team-ups you can use with Union Jack right now, and that is Union Jack and Hogun. It is absolutely one of the most destructive team-ups that you can do over here for Union Jack. And Hogun is a ton of fun. He smashes group bosses. I really hope if you have the opportunity to get Hogun that you definitely do so. He is without a doubt a fantastic melee character. It's very hard for him to go wrong in the hands of the AI. One of the only things that could be done wrong is if the AI favors the Meteor Smash instead of the Windup Swing. But that's not necessarily that bad. Overwhelming presence is up every 2 rounds. This can't be misused unless he's exhausted at the time that it goes off. Elixir of Recovery. It's better if the agent does it than if he does it and wastes a turn. But this isn't a horrible thing to do. Iceman with the weather control devices, Hailstorm could work with Union Jack because he will jump in and throw snowballs chances on frozen people. You'll see here, has a chance to attack when an enemy with chilled attacks or is attacked. So if you can set up a freeze on the enemy team, this will work. And I might even try a team up or two with that. Movie Lord would also be another good team up with Union Jack. Grants all allies united front. Attacks have a chance to cause allies to join in on single target attacks. Allies have a chance to retaliate when an ally is hit by single target attacks. So this is definitely good with Union Jack, and it would be very good if you were doing like a quick lock style setup where you dump everything on offense. And this probably would work even with PvP defense, as we started to see at the end of last season. So, hope you guys enjoyed a video here on Hogun and Union Jack. I really can't even think of a name for this team that's witty. Hog Jack, Jack Hog, Union Gun, who knows. But yeah, they're massive. So if you guys can think of a good team up name for this, by all means, leave it down in the comments. And we'll definitely consider it. Take care, everybody. Have a good weekend.